Hey everybody, Chris Rush with Utility Service Agency, Territory Manager for Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware. And today we're on site here in Virginia. We're going to be doing an RS composite pole install. One of the questions we get sometimes is where and when can we use RS poles? One of the big deciding factors here for this customer was the terrain. We're working on an embankment that's about 50, 60 foot above the roadway. The customer has no right of way into these poles in this line. It's heavy rock, heavy brush. No way to get a truck here to actually do this replacement. With the mobility of our poles, the ease of being able to move them around, how light they are, and then our gen system, we can actually install each one of these sections one at a time and make this a pretty successful day without having what equipment we traditionally would know or think of to be here to do it. Today we're going to be setting two of our RS composite poles. If you look behind me, you'll see one of the bases is already installed. We'll be using our BMK pole foam to set these poles, taking that base and then building upon that and putting the rest of the pole up using the gen system with RS. So this is the second location where we'll be setting a pole today. We're about 50, 70 yards from the first pole. We'll talk a little bit about what we got in front of us. Off to my left, this is going to be the base. That'll be what goes in the ground first. Once that's set up, we'll get the gen attachment set up. The section right in front of me, in the middle, is going to be the second section. Then we'll move to the last piece, the one to my right. That'll be the top section. And again, all this is going to be set using our gen system.
There you go.
So we've got our base section set, our BMK Polecrete set up, and the crews behind us now are drilling for the steps. With RS composite poles, you can order your step holes pre-drilled. We decided to drill these in the field. So one of the things you'll notice with our RS composite poles is the ease of drilling. What these guys are using is just a standard 1.8" hole saw bit with a center punch to it, and it's taking them 4 or 5 seconds for each hole to get through the fiberglass in the poles. You need nothing more than basically what you're going to have on one of your trucks already. You'll be using a standard impact or impact drill that you already have on your truck, and outside of that, those are going to be really the only two tools that you're going to need to get your holes drilled for your steps. There are different steps that you can order. That'll be your customer preference. All right, so these guys have already drilled their holes. They're installing the steps now. What you see this guy doing, he's tightening down the nut on the outside of that step, and that's drawing the catch lever on the inside tight to the pole. These guys have got the gen pole set up to the pole. If you look towards the bottom of the orange piece, which is your gen pole, you'll see 2 yellow straps. That's what's tying it in to the base or the foundation itself. Towards the top of the gen pole, you'll see a 3-shiv block system, and that's what's used to raise your sections up. Second section, the middle section's in place. We're getting everything ready to raise the top section up and get that final section tied in. So what you'll see behind me is they're working on setting the top section of this. We started with our first section. We've got that in the ground. We used the gin pole to get the second section up. Once we got the second section bolted in to our base, we reattached the gin pole to our third or top section. We've got it hoisted up, and now we're trying just to align that top section around the middle section, and then you'll see them use the pulley system to actually seat that down on that second section. The guys behind me are starting to disassemble the gin pole itself. The top piece is actually attached. Previous video, you would have probably seen some straps. Those straps tie into two chain hoists, and we use those to tighten the two sections down. And then you'll see a through bolt or bolts that go through there to tie in the second and third piece. Now they'll start disassembling the gin pole itself. When that's disassembled, we'll be moving on to the second pole and kind of restarting this whole process again. So as you can see behind me, we're finishing up this installation of the RS poles today. Kind of recapping what we walked through today and talked about. This customer here in Virginia had issues during storm work, a lot of outages. RS was a perfect solution for this. Our poles were light, they were easy to transport up here. We used the gin system to put our sections together of the pole, and this is going to provide longevity and grid hardening for them throughout future storms. So again, Chris Rush with Utility Service Agency. If you want to know more about our RS composite pole systems, reach out to your local territory manager. We'll be glad to bring our demonstration trailer out and talk to you more about it. Thank you.
You ready? Yeah. It'll be heavy for you. I know.